back to my channel, Bhan Talks. Today I'm here with my friends Sultan Nurdaulat and Faraz Khan, aka
the Kollector King. Please subscribe.
So, today we are back with another topic, and the topic for today is love versus lust, as you can already see in the title. And we have very different views, or maybe similar. Let's figure out.
Yeah, let's see.
It goes on case by case person, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah,
So
we,
people.
we have a lot of experience with it.
too much experience. That's why we're making this video for you guys.
So,
Yeah,
So,
you wanna start? Yeah,
first of
sure.
all, people, what's the difference between lust and love? What do you think, Deveshpan?
Interesting.
Very interesting, huh?
Okay, so I think it's a very deep topic. Both of them are very deep topics. But love I think is more complicated than lust. But it all begins, of course, I really believe it begins with the physical attraction, which can be lustful or but love, I think it's more like a neurological thing or something which is based on hormones and chemicals. And both of it is though. I mean, even lust is, even love is. But then when you become habitual of the dopamine or the oxytocin, oh my god.
Are you a scientist now?
Oh my god, I don't know, bro. It's like I figured these new words out. And I knew dopamine. Well, there are a lot of dopamine dependent people out here. But anyway, the thing is, I think love is about the minor details when you're in a relationship. It's about the small things which matter. Digging deep into the person, like what their interests are, what do they really want to do in life, stuff like that. What do you guys think?
I mean, for me personally, by the way, these are disclaimer. These are just our opinions, so please don't take it personally.
Yeah.
But they are just our opinions.
Yeah.
For me at least, I think that lust is more towards like the physical attraction, whereas love is not only physical but it's also like affection as well.
Emotional.
Emotional
Yeah.
affection, basically, yeah, the same thing. But yeah, it's not only like he or she looks very good looking, and whether they have flaws or not, people just completely ignore them just because of the fact that they look good. Whereas love, in a sort of sense, you would try to help out your partner. Try to not correct those flaws because obviously everyone has flaws, but like just to let them know, like they could perhaps react in a different manner, or that's up to them, of course, if they want to listen or not. But you would want them to improve, basically.
True. I
Yeah.
think yeah. Anything.
And also, love, truly real love, comes with years. Once you overcame hardships with this person, once you have a lot of emotional and maybe it's additional sexual connection with this person. So for a healthy relationship, it's very important to have both of those.
Both, yeah.
Especially at the beginning, it's better to invest into emotional baggage, and then you may delve into
Talking
sexual
about
attraction.
baggage, I think everyone comes with their own bloody baggages.
Emotional,
I think
life
all
experiences.
the previous, I think all the relationships I've been into, I think each and every person, every girl would come with their own baggage. And if you even go out with a friend and they would tell you stuff like, oh, this is what happened in my life, and this was bad, this was good, and my parents or whatever, I think it is a big thing to understand that a relationship is like a full-time job, not something.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
a
not something-
full-time job.
It's not something you can ditch on the next week or like next year.
It's like commitment, basically. It's not
Commitment,
just like, oh, we got together, and next day it's like, bye, Felicia. It's not like that.
Yeah, and then like you go back home and be like, okay, so I opened up my laptop now.
Happy Valentine's
Oh my
Day.
God.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
Jeez, what's...
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
No, but there's also one more thing is that I find that, lust, I mean, great, it's good if you want like a one-time fling or something. Temporary, it is always temporary.
Yeah.
Never,
nothing
like,
long term.
you
Nothing
should-
long term. Yeah.
obviously, we're not trying to say that lust is bad and love is good. By all means, it's
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
up to you. You do what you want. You live your own life. YOLO.
Yeah, disclaimer, do what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But we're just trying to say that people may not differentiate between lust and love. They may think that it's the same thing, or they may not know themselves without, unknowingly. It's like they can't tell whether they actually feel lust or love for that person.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, must have happened to me a few times in my life, but we'll save that story for another time. But mainly, it's like lust is obviously short term, whereas love tends to be more long term. Because lust can either it just disappears one day, or if it's good, it ends up transforming from lust to love.
To love, yeah.
And then
I
from
mean,
there, you
sometimes
go on.
many relationships, like I have seen and I've heard stories, like they start with lust, but then they turn into love. Maybe because of the physical compatibility or whatever, how it goes. But it's very complicated how relationships turn around. But it can happen. I think it can happen.
Also, it's in my opinion, adding up to all of you what you said, guys, it's very important to straight away when you begin the relationship to show your intentions. Do you want to have a long-term relationships with this person, or maybe you want to be something like friends with benefits, or you're really non-binding relationships.
True.
Because
so
like
it's very important in order to avoid frustration from both sides.
Exactly.
That's what the majority of people forget nowadays.
Exactly, because the thing is that lust, as I said before, short term. So they just look at maybe the next few days. Whereas love is like, of course, it depends. It's also a case by case situation. So again, don't take this personally, but depending by case, some people may see love as like future being marriage and kids, etc. Whereas others they may not want kids or marriage, but they just want to be with that person for a couple of years at least. That's it. So it depends. It depends.
And also, what I noticed, by the way, is that the majority of people, when it comes to long-term relationships, your requirements, your demands from your partner are much higher.
Of course, because it's not only physical attraction. It's actually what goes on up here.
I think also it's like about the feeling you get, like when you see a person. Like sometimes you just feel like, okay, I'm just attracted physically, but the person doesn't have any brains. Like like maybe you're not connected on deeper intellectual level. Like maybe only you may be physically compatible, but intellectually you are like.
Well, not even intellectual, being my personality.
Being
my personality. Like, as you've done research, like Capricorn and Aries, for example. But
oh my god,
that's a side joke between us. But I mean, like.
Come on, people.
Mainly, like, it could also be like, your personality just doesn't correspond with her, but like, because it's physical, it's like, this has to work, It's like a business,
But bro, to be honest, I never trust this, zodiac signs. Oh my god.
I don't either. But it's just a side joke between us.
By the way, I didn't believe in the zodiac signs till the time I actually went to on my first date or something. Like, because only I think, I don't know, I don't want to generalize, but it's only when you go out and you meet your opposite gender and you really want to talk to her, then that's when these things come out. Like, compatibility is something. Like it does matter. Like, oh shit, I didn't know about it, dude. Like, I didn't know about it. But did you know about this? Like, oh my god, I don't know. Like shit. Like people say, Aries and Gemini do very good, and like I don't know, Aquarius, and I don't know who is for you.
I heard about this thing, bro. But then I just imagine my classroom. When in my previous school, all of us we were born in the same year, and there were 4 people who had the same zodiac signs, and all of them completely different.
So it's like, it's not something to.
No, they are. I think everyone is so different. Like, okay, I'm an Aries, but there are people out there who are very different than me. Like, we're not doing the same thing all the time. It's like, okay, maybe I'm Aries, this guy is Pisces, this guy is Aquarius. That does not mean. I think it's a huge message I want to give. Please don't base your relationship or mindset on zodiac signs, because they don't mean anything. One person can be very different from the other. It's all about how you were raised, your mindset, and please go deeper than this shit.
It's not like a textbook that you're just studying for test. So it's like, so he's Aries, so he has to write this as a. No, it's not necessarily true. Some may be, but not everyone.
The maximum you can do is brag about, this famous person was an Aquarius, and then you say, Einstein was an Aquarius, and then you winking to this.
But just a little joke. But if you guys if you have good compatibility with Pisces, just leave us.
Any chick out there, please, you know who it is. Like, he's Faraz Khan is also.
Hey man, I mean that's
AKA.
Kollector King. Just fish. You hope you get some bite. No, I'm joking. But I mean,
you message him.
Basically, I mean, if you want to, it's good to know about it. It's just a nice hobby, but do not generalize. That's all I'm.
Please don't generalize. It hurts.
Yeah.
Because there might be some people who are completely opposite than you, and then people generalize, and then oh my god. Anyway,
Exactly.
so what else do we have to talk about?
So people, I think it's pretty much done, no? What else?
I mean, any past experiences? Have you guys ever had anything like in terms of whether you knew you were feeling lust or love for
Well,
some
at least I heard that
particular?
the three of my girlfriends, all of them had one the same.
I'm sorry,
zodiac sign.
hold up. Tree?
Yeah.
Nice.
You mean, toi?
What? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So?
No, so and basically I didn't know about this thing at all. Imagine my surprise when I like, oh hold on, what's the zodiac signs of my 3 ex-girlfriends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I found out, I'm like, bloody hell. Especially when you were bragging about this, the way she was saying, oh my god, these Herminites or what?
Geminis.
Geminis. Geminis are like, oh no, they're not compatible, etc. This and that.
Yeah, they are.
So
they are. If anyone's Gemini, let me know.
For me, I was deeply surprised. Oh my god.
Nice little plug-in right there.
But yeah, I mean, I think love is more about genuine care for the person. Gestures, small gestures. Opening a door for your lady, or just pulling the seat, or some small gestures. When they are sad, you call them up, or when you feel that they are angry, you try to stuff like this. Whereas when it comes to lust, these things don't exist. It's like it's only superficial, surface level stuff. It's like, okay, it's about two bodies coming together. But when it comes to love, I think there's a deeper connection. You really care about the person. You want them to grow. You really want them to succeed. You wish well for the person. It comes naturally from inside, which is, I think, the main difference in love and lust, right?
Yeah, and also I think it's very bad for the relationship to be too demanding. So you expect if your boyfriend or girlfriend overlooked something that seemed very important to you, and you thought, oh my god, this person, why didn't he notice that? And maybe for the girl, I had a new clothes or new perfume, or for the guy, he was like, oh my god, I want to go with my friends, but she forced me to go with her somewhere. So sometimes it's really you have to give the space.
Especially the question when they ask, like, have you not noticed what I've done with my hair? I'm sorry to say, ladies, but most men don't notice what you've done with your hair. I mean, I'm sure it must be wonderful, luscious, soft hair, but we just don't notice it.
We're just stupid.
We just do not notice. Yeah, we're just stupid. And you're clearly more clever than us in that regard.
I can. I can notice everything. So.
I hope so. Well.
I notice.
For your future girlfriend.
I mean, especially like if I really care for a person, I will notice each and everything. But if I don't, then you can just be like, yalla, goodbye.
Actually, there's one more thing I did want to discuss between difference between lust and love. It's mainly sex. I mean, obviously, yes, they're both a part of lust and love. It's a fact. Yeah. But the difference is the number of times. The amount is completely different. It's like lust is like you do it way more than you need to, I find. Again, this is a personal opinion. But I find that you do it way more than you need to. And it's like if you do any other activity, eating the same food, studying the same book over and over, it's like if you repeat any same activity over and over, it just loses that magic or that feeling of doing something new. You just lose it because that's how it's implanted in our brains as humans.
I would differ slightly with Faraz here. I don't think sex is something which you can generalize in love or lust a number of times, but like I think it's the way you do it. It's like when it comes to love, you will see the difference, and then when it comes to lust, it's purely one, like, okay, it's business shit. Like just go.
It's like a contract.
It's like let's do 50 shits.
Oh my god, please no.
There's a difference. Yeah, I think that's the main difference.
And that is to know your intentions. What's your goal from the relationship? From the
exactly. Yeah, that's what
I think that for this, like, I think two things that actually Sultan has actually pointed out. One is like the people skills and like how you actually sympathize and be affectionate with the person. And second one, right now, what you said.
Have the intentions.
Intention in the relationship.
What's your goal?
The final goal.
Very essential.
The end goal
from the very beginning. It's better to have
conclusion, end goal.
I mean, guys, if you don't have like intention with somebody which is long term, clarify and stick to it and don't mislead. But if you don't and you really want to dig deep into the person and be with that person for longer, Dude, that's the best thing you can do, right?
Actually, there was one thing I did find interesting. As just backtrack towards the fact that I just say like they do it more in Last Enough.
Yeah.
Just one thing I just want to clarify is because it's not that it's again like an activity. I get it, but then at the same time, it's that whereas if you do it, if you're having like a long term relationship, whereas you can confirm as love or whatever it is you want to confirm it as, it doesn't have to be love, but it's like you also end up having like it's just a part of the relationship. It's a small part. It's like you're doing
It's a
other
part.
stuff.
It's a part of relationship.
Whereas
It's not
on
the
the other one
relationship.
is the main
Yeah,
attraction at the end. I mean, that is a fact. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think getting physical with someone is a part of a relationship. It's not the only thing.
it can only get you so far. I mean,
Yeah, it can only. I think
it just
it's true.
disappears. You can't pursue it for long.
Yeah,
It
I
will
mean,
either
we
disappear
all
or it becomes
will
love.
get older soon, and then all this
Mature,
physical attraction is gonna go away or fade away over time.
Yeah.
What stays would be, like bonding connection with the person.
People, by the way, what do you think about? Is there a correlation between the amount of time you spend with this person and how strong is your connection? Do you think the longer you stay with this person, maybe your relationship will go stronger and stronger? Or what do you think? Maybe it's otherwise. Huh? You get bored.
I find. I mean, if you're looking for something long term, mainly I would have to say yes, but in a so way like. People have two faces in this world. I mean, it's normal. Everyone does. Everyone has because you would have one face that you only show to your family and close people, close ones, and then you have one that you show in the business world. Most people have it. The few who don't, I mean, congratulations, but most people do have it. And the thing is that I find if you want to figure out the true, like, the real versions of themselves, I recommend if you want to get a relationship, a couple of years would be good because no one can like keep up a fake act for a couple of years. It's next to impossible. So by then you end up discovering the.
I think they can.
I mean, if they can, then they should become professional actors.
Yeah.
But yeah, mainly it's like you move. Like let's say you want to get a girlfriend. I recommend this at least a few years, maybe 3 minimum. I'm saying that with like also include moving in with them because once you move in, you also have to deal with their pet peeves, things that you may not like about them, and things that they may not like about you. If you guys can go get along with that, then most likely, at least if you tend to go further than marry, you'll have a long-lasting marriage. If you cannot, I mean, you still think that you just want to force it, and like, no, I mean, it's been many years, I can't. Yes, you can. It's not like that because then if you force it, you will lead it to a divorce. And then it's horrible.
Yeah. And also, love is not about forcing. Lust can be forceful. I think that's the main difference.
And also, because you spend so much time. What else?
I mean, it can be forceful from both the sides. Like, I'm not saying, of course, with consent and consensual
Oh my God,
stuff,
consent, please.
Please consent, please.
Yeah,
no means no, okay?
And also,
guys and girls.
As Faraz has noted, when you spend 3 years with this person, you begin to appreciate your own time. So you begin to think about relationship much more seriously. Do I want to spend with this person next 3 years of my life? Because you say, once you say, oh yeah, just spend 3 years with this person, it sounds like a throwaway phrase.
Is it really
but
worth
actually, yeah, does it worth it? Yeah. Does the relationship worth of extending for 3 years? And adding up to the other point why I brought this topic is because I read some research that pinpointed that the longer you stay with a person, the longer it takes to overcome the breakups. The breakup,
yeah. Over time, I think you get more attached to the person. Of course, as I mentioned, the chemical things actually work. They actually work.
And what
dopamine actually gets you habitual of the person. I have actually.
And what, for example,
experienced it.
Some relationships have pointed out, for example, they did a research and they found out that, for example, each year, if you spend with the person 1 year, it will take you 1 month to overcome the frustration of breakup. And then if you stayed with this person, for example, there are some couples, married couples, who stayed for 50 years, for 60 years. For them to overcome the stress of losing your loved one, it will take, for example, if you say, 1 year is like 1 month, imagine 50 years, 50 months, it will take nearly, as we calculate, about 4 years to overcome the stress from losing the connection with this person.
For sure.
Yeah, because you spend nearly half your life with that person.
Yeah, half a life
makes sense.
I don't think it can. I mean, if you lose a loved one, it's always hard, but it's very hard to get over. If your loved one is actually gone, like your partner who you have been with for a long time. But that's another topic altogether.
Yeah, altogether another topic. So, people, are we done?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said everything I want to say.
So people, you decide what
Yeah.
you want to do in your life.
You decide.
Yeah, it's always upon yourself.
Live
We
your own
just
life,
express
live your own
our
life.
opinions.
Yeah,
and do
this is
whatever
our own
we want.
opinions. We basically
Yeah.
wanted to share this with you guys. So here we are.
I mean, if you find it helpful, I mean, leave a like, subscribe, and of course, subscribe to Collector King.
Collector King and
Yeah.
Sultan Dalit.
I'm gonna create my own channel, Horse Milk. So subscribe.
Soon, coming soon.